Know that.
Hey, what's going on, guys? Matt back again with another throwback review, as always, and this is going to be for Season 3, Episode 6, entitled Hounded. Alright, guys, this episode starts with, we see Michonne, or no, sorry, let's take that back. We see Merle and a couple other guys. They're out in the woods, and they're basically looking for Michonne. Michonne ambushes them, decapitating Crowley and impaling Tim. Walkers then approach them, and she makes her escape. So it's just Carjulio and Merle left, and they give chase after preventing their allies from reanimating. So that's how the episode actually starts, and then Merle's like, "We having fun yet?" And, it's kind of a cool line. And anyways. Back to the prison. Rick talks to the person on the phone, quote unquote person. The person on the other line is a woman. Says she will think about allowing Rick and his group to merge with hers. She then hangs up, prompting Rick to check on Carl and the others. Back in Woodbury, Andrea and the governor get to talking, and Andrea tells him that she belongs on the wall as a lookout. He allows it, and Andrea is seen talking to Haley. They notice a walker, and Haley attempts to shoot it with a compound bow, missing it twice. Andrea hops the wall, killing it with a knife. Haley becomes irritated with Andrea, stating that people don't go over the wall. Andrea realizes that she enjoyed the arena fights from the previous night. Rick gets back to Rick. He's back in the boiler room now. He gets a call from a man from the woman's group. He begins to question Rick, including the means of Lori's death. Rick refuses to talk about it, and the man hangs up, causing Rick to break down. Rick then informs Herschel of the other group, but when Herschel picks up the phone, he hears only static. Herschel asks Rick if he wants to talk, but Rick declines the offer. Back to Merle. Merle and Carjulio are ambushed once again by Michonne. She nearly kills Carjulio, whose skin is slashed, but is saved by Merle. Merle and Michonne then get into a scuffle, but are once again ambushed by walkers. Carjulio saves Merle by stabbing the walker that had cornered him, while Michonne scrambles away from a walker. In the process, she cuts its stomach open, spilling its guts onto her. In the confusion, she escapes again, but this time with a bullet wound in the thigh from Merle. When Michonne is again accosted by walkers, they walk right past her, and if she is not even there, which leads her to figure out that the walker guts had created some sort of camouflage against the other walkers, similar to when Rick and Glenn smeared guts all over themselves, back in season 1. After losing sight of Michonne, Merle suggests that they just go back to Woodbury and tell the governor that they killed her, but Carjulio fears lying to the governor, probably not the best idea, The Merle basically, he's like, shoots him in the head. He goes, "Hey man, is that a bird?" Boom. Shoots him, and then basically goes back to Woodbury himself. Kind of funny. Merle's fucking nuts. He's hilarious. But anyways, Glenn and Maggie have actually made their way back into town to try to get some more supplies. Michonne sees them from behind the car and watches as they gather supplies, including a toy for the baby. Merle then sneaks up, and Glenn and Maggie raise their guns towards him. Merle recognizes Glenn, and they have a conversation about each other's survival. Merle asks about Daryl, and Glenn reveals that he is alive, which causes Merle to want to return to their camp along with Maggie and Glenn, but Glenn refuses, causing a scuffle. In the ensuing confusion, Merle grabs Maggie, holds his gun to her head, and orders Glenn to drive the three of them to Woodbury. Back at the prison, Daryl, Carl, and Oscar are searching the lower levels of the prison. Daryl talks about his mother and how she had died in a house fire. Carl admits that he shot Lori in the head so she wouldn't turn. The two share condolences with each other. Eventually, the three come upon a walker. Daryl kills it and notices Carol's knife in the side of his throat. Angered, he begins to stab the knife into the floor and the wall. He slides down the wall and sits down. He then notices a door budge and opens it, revealing a weakened but alive Carol inside. He carries her back to the others. Andrea and the governor talk about Andrea's behavior at the wall. Governor tells her that she's no longer suitable for the wall. She admits that she enjoyed the fights and was angered that she enjoyed them. The governor then alludes to her that she likes him as well. Later on, they enjoy a drink outside, and the two end up sleeping together. Well, fucking Andrew just jump in the sack with anybody, won't she? Soon after this, Merle returns with Glenn and Maggie and informs the governor that Michonne is dead, although he has not brought back any proof that she's actually dead. Back to Rick and his talking to his imaginary friends. Rick talks again on the phone to and the woman on the other end tells him that she is Lori, and that he was talking to the other people who had died in the group previously, Amy, Jim, and Jackie. Rick breaks down again and telling her how sorry he was for not telling her how he felt and allowing her to die. The connection breaks up and Rick hangs up as he can no longer understand her. Feeling better after having his conversation, quote unquote, with Lori, he walks out of the prison with the baby and the group before handing it to Carl. Curious, he spots a figure carrying a basket and a bag along with a group of walkers. He approaches the fence and realizes that the figure is actually a survivor. It's Michonne, carrying the bag of supplies that Glenn and Maggie was forced to leave behind when they went with Merle. So that's how the episode ends. Rick's getting his first glance of Michonne. She ended up finding the prison and everything, and she has the supplies that Glenn and Maggie had. So that was kind of crazy. Like I said, all in all, not a too action packed episode, but like I said, it's pretty good episode to kind of further along the storyline and everything. So yeah, I enjoyed it. Not too bad. Like I said, as always, I appreciate you checking out this review, and I'll see you guys next time.
Welcome to Lindbergh.